This time around it's going to be updates and changes. I'm Rio Gion and welcome to Rio Gion Keyboards. If this is your first video on this keyboard, I'll provide links to the previous videos and comparisons down below. Nothing physically have changed for the keyboard except a different switch type. If you are a fan of plus size keyboard, then this one should be right up your alley with macro buttons, dedicated profile switcher, volume wheel, and dedicated media controls. They pretty much threw as much stuff as they can for this keyboard, making it one of the most complete plus size keyboards in the market. It also have this little plastic piece that can act as a mouse bungee, which is nice but not as effective as other standalone mouse bungee. So keep that in mind. If you like a stealth office style looking keyboard, then forget this one because besides the font, everything else screams gaming keyboard. There was a short time when I was using the Corsair K780 RGB Blue with that tramp stamp logo, and I noticed that this keyboard have the exact same keycaps. I think GSkill must have used the same company to make the keycaps for them. This was something that I missed when the Corsair updated their keycaps with a larger, more gamer font. I knew that the bottom row of this keyboard was non-standard and it would be somewhat difficult to replace keycaps for them, but I didn't know that it would be next to impossible to find a replacement keycap for the spacebar. It's a 5.5U spacebar which I tried looking all over the internet trying to find translucent double shot PBT. I thought that I have the spacebar with the white keycap set that I tend to use on my typing videos. It turns out I didn't, which was a bummer. The MX Blue types beautifully. Every single stroke is buttery smooth and the click sounds fantastic. Of course, let's be honest, we all know this is subject to change as I get my hands on more and more keyboards. GSkill isn't really known for typing, but when I had the brown switch, I thought it typed really well. I remember my college days making good essays and writing assignments off that keyboard because I was finding excuses to type. Now with the blue switches, it's safe to say that it's gotten even better. It's something about me hitting the buttons and making a clicking sound that's just extremely satisfying. I know the brown switch is good for both gaming and typing, but I just don't see myself with the brown switches because it probably has something to do with my first mechanical keyboard being a blue switch. The software is where most of the changes happen. I remember when I was doing the video comparison between this and the K780 RGB. The salt was real because back then you can't turn off the volume light, so it means that most of your setup will include some kind of red. This is fine if you like red as one of your colors for your theme, but if you don't want any red, then you're kind of screwed before the changes. Obviously, the next thing they should do is make these lights RGB. There were people that have this keyboard way in the beginning, and you couldn't change the colors of any of the top buttons. Then, enough people complain about it, so they fix it. It's either one of the software developers have watched my comparison video, or enough people complain about the red volume wheel that they decided to make the change. More than likely, it's enough people complain about it because my channel at this point is so small that it won't be making any impact. But that's alright, because I'm working towards making this channel bigger, and you can help me by liking, commenting, and sharing this video with your friends. Along with turning off the volume light, you get to layer more effects such as ripple, sonic, changeling, and rain. It's only 2 layers as far as I can tell, so it's not as epic as something like those from Corsair keyboards. Maybe if we start complaining about this, then there's a chance they might make it happen. Let's face it, The main appeal for this keyboard is that it's basically a copy of the K70 K95 for $30 to $50 cheaper depending on where you get it from. If they manage to get the layering effect done right to match the Corsair keyboard, then this is really going to be a hidden gem. I'm really glad that the developers implement software updates for this keyboard because it shows that they do care for their consumers. I want this keyboard to do well because it's underrated and overlooked. If more people complain about the keyboard, I think the developers will take notice and make the changes. They did it before and they'll do it again. Because this is an old keyboard, prices are much lower than they typically are. You can find this keyboard anywhere from the low 100s to the mid 130s. If you bought this keyboard during the first day of release, then you face a pretty good amount of depreciation. But if you haven't and you want an alternative to the K70 RGB, then this is the keyboard for you. If you want MX Blue RGB keyboard with floating design, macro buttons, USB audio pass-through, volume wheel, dedicated media controls, then your choices are quite limited. This keyboard is definitely big on gaming potential as MMO gamers will love macro capability plus a separate bank of macro keys. The same can be said for those that edit lots of videos. For FPS gamers, this is not that great because it's full size and it's a blue switch, so your response time might not be as fast as you want it to be. For RTS gamers, this is also not that great because you can't react as fast and it's not as stiff enough to the point where you won't be making too many mistakes. It's not like you can't play those two genres, it just won't be as capable as the red and black switches. If you can find this board around the $90 mark, then it's a steal considering it's basically a K95 for half the price. Overall, the changes are nice, and here's to them making more changes to the software. If you liked the video, please be sure to leave this video a like. If you got some extra cash and you want to support my channel, then I have a Patreon link down below. As always, please be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to be part of the mighty notification squad. As always, have an awesome day.